Yeah. Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're jumping into something that causes, well, real stress for pretty much any language learner, using public transport in English.
Think about that moment. You're at the ticket barrier, maybe getting on a bus somewhere unfamiliar, and you suddenly realize, oh boy, reading the signs is like only half the problem.
That's so true.
The real challenge, the bit that makes you freeze up sometimes, isn't just figuring out the map, it's the language, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's those spontaneous interactions.
Yeah, you need to suddenly talk to a ticket agent or the driver, or maybe just ask a stranger for help, and you have to do it quickly, politely, all while you're probably feeling a bit stressed anyway.
Mm-hmm. It requires a certain level of social fluency, almost C1 level, even for simple things.
Exactly.
And that's really our goal for this deep dive. We want to give you a kind of confidence shortcut. We've looked at sources that highlight these key phrases, these advanced ways of speaking. We're trying to move beyond the absolute basics,
Right.
Where's the station, and get into language that sounds natural, competent, respectful, the kind of English that tells people you know what you're doing.
So we're aiming for real mastery, not just getting by, but handling transactions, social situations.
Precisely. It's more than just vocabulary. It's understanding the cultural side of things, too. Politeness, indirectness. These are huge in English-speaking places.
Okay.
Mastering these makes the whole journey smoother. Not just physically getting there, but feeling, composed.
And the sources we're drawing on today, they really focus on this practical side, don't they? Less about grammar rules, more about why certain phrases just work better in real life.
Yeah, they provide a great blueprint.
So we'll break down everything from buying a ticket smoothly to, well, what to do when you realize you're heading in completely the wrong direction.
Which happens to everyone.
Yeah.
Definitely. Okay, let's dive into the first big area, buying tickets and asking for directions. Right. So, the transaction. Buying that ticket, asking for basic info from staff. The absolute core principle here, especially for that C1 fluency, is pragmatic politeness. It's king.
Pragmatic politeness. Okay.
See, in lots of languages, being direct is fine. I want a ticket, perfectly normal.
Yeah.
But in English, that can sound a bit abrupt, maybe even rude, depending on the tone. It kind of ignores the social element.
You mentioned face saving earlier. That's related to this, right? Why is I want a ticket to London? Maybe not the best way.
Exactly. Face is like your public self-image. A direct command, I want, sort of imposes on the other person. It treats them like a machine just there to do what you say.
Okay, I get that.
It neglects their negative face, their right not to be ordered around.
Ah, interesting.
So using polite modals like could or would changes everything. It turns it into a request or an inquiry. It signals respect right away. That's why our sources emphasize phrases like, hi, I'd like a one-way ticket to downtown, please. The I'd like is much softer than I want.
Right, or could I get a return ticket to the airport? That could I get. Feels really natural and polite.
It's incredibly effective. Would and could introduce that element of possibility or permission. You're asking them to help make it happen, not commanding it.
Okay, so it's deeper than just being polite. It's showing you understand the social rules. But let's get into the specifics. Why is could I get maybe seen as even better than can I get? They seem so similar.
That's a subtle C1 distinction. Can I get is fine, totally common.
Yeah.
But could and would, using those past tense forms, creates a little linguistic distance. It makes the request feel more hypothetical, less immediate.
So less demanding.
Exactly. Can I get a ticket? Is about ability or permission right now. Could I get a ticket? Frames it as a hypothetical possibility. It puts less pressure on the person helping you. That kind of indirectness is really valued.
Okay, that makes sense. So applying the C1 style to asking for directions. So you're in a busy station, the phrase you mentioned earlier. Would you happen to know if this bus stops near the city center? It sounds great, very polite, but it's quite long, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah. Is there a risk it's just too much in a noisy, rushed situation? Could it cause confusion?
That's a really good point about the trade-off between politeness and speed. And you're right, sometimes brevity is key. But that phrase, would you happen to know? It serves a specific purpose. It's a softener, a preface.
Okay.
It acknowledges that the person might be busy or they might not know the answer. It sort of gives them an out.
Ah, right. So if they don't know, they can just say, sorry, I don't, without feeling bad.
Precisely. And because you've shown that respect up front, if they do know, they're often more willing to give you a detailed, helpful answer. It's a calculated risk, but usually worth it for a smoother interaction.
So the effort in phrasing pays off, but what about really specific things like platform numbers? Our sources suggested being more direct there.
Exactly. For things like, does this train go to Central Station, or which platform for line 2? Directness is fine. Expected even. You're asking for unambiguous, factual information. The fluency there comes from clear pronunciation and using the right specific words like platform, not just place.
Got it. Clarity is key for those specific details. Okay, so we've bought our ticket, found the right platform. Now we're actually on the bus or train. We're in that shared space. And this is where social etiquette really comes into play, isn't it? Those little interactions.
Absolutely. You're sharing a confined space, sometimes for a while, and the first thing you might need to navigate is seating.
The seat question. Always a bit awkward.
It can be. How do you ask if a seat's free without sounding pushy?
Yeah. Well, the sources point out a difference. You've got the very direct, is this seat taken? Which is, okay, it's purely factual.
Right.
But then you have the slightly smoother, more conversational, mind if I sit here? Mind if I sit here? Why is that considered smoother?
It's an indirect speech act. You're not just asking about the seat status. You're asking, do you object if I sit here? It gives the other...
So it acknowledges their personal space more. Even if the seat looks empty, you're kind of checking in with the person nearby?
Exactly. It shows more social awareness, acknowledges their little zone around them, and the standard polite reply is usually, go ahead, or maybe not at all.
Okay. And what about the other side? Offering your seat.
Yeah, that's not just being nice. It's another chance to show fluency. Simple, active phrases work best. Please go ahead. Or, you can take this seat if you'd like.
Keep it simple and direct, but polite.
Right. Avoid anything that sounds like you're pitying them. Just a straightforward offer. Okay, now for the big one while you're on board, making sure you don't miss your stop. This causes so much anxiety for learners.
Oh, definitely. High stress moment. You need a phrase that's crystal clear and super polite because you're relying on a stranger's help.
So what's the go-to phrase? Well, first, get their attention politely.
Okay.
Excuse me. Then the core request. Could you please tell me when we reach Elm Street? Could you please tell me when we reach... Okay, I hear the politeness layers there. Excuse me. Could you please... Triple layered. Excuse me. For attention.
Yeah.
Could you, for the polite modal please, for reinforcement? It almost guarantees they'll at least try to help.
Well, what if they say yes, but then, they forget or get distracted? That happens. How do you follow up without sounding rude?
That's a really important point. It does happen. If you think your stop is coming up and they haven't said anything, you need to gently remind them. Use hedging language.
Like what?
Lean in maybe and say something like, so sorry to bother you again, but I just wanted to check, are we getting close to Elm Street? Or, excuse me, I think you mentioned you let me know about Elm Street. It's coming up soon.
So phrases like, so sorry to bother you again, or I just wanted to check, you're taking the blame for interrupting, even though they offered.
Exactly. You maintain politeness, even if you're feeling a bit anxious. That's a key C1 skill, managing the interaction smoothly, even when there's a slight hiccup.
Okay. And flipping it around, if someone asks you for help with their stop, how do you respond confidently, not just, yeah? Right. A confident, fluent reply is reassuring. Good options are, sure, I'll let you know. Clear expectation setting, simple, or even better if you know. Yes, it's about 3 stops from here. I'll give you a shout. Adding that little extra detail, like the number of stops, shows genuine helpfulness and fluency. It makes it a positive social moment, turns it from just answering a question into a mini connection.
Exactly.
All right, let's talk about when things don't go smoothly. Crisis management. Because, let's face it, everyone misses a stop or gets on the wrong train sometimes, right? Even native speakers?
Oh, absolutely. It happens all the time. The key isn't avoiding mistakes. It's knowing how to communicate effectively when you're stressed.
So what's the first step when you realize, uh-oh, I messed up?
Admit the error, but do it gracefully. The sources really emphasize moving from that initial panic to clear communication as fast as possible. And again, hedging language is your friend here.
Hedging, like softening it.
Exactly. Instead of a blunt statement like, I missed my stop, which sounds a bit final and maybe even accusatory.
Right.
Try, I think I missed my stop, or, I might have gotten on the wrong bus. Using I think or I might have makes it sound less like a definite disaster and more like, well, a problem you need help solving.
I see. It invites collaboration. Help me figure this out rather than fix my mistake.
Precisely. It lowers the tension immediately.
Okay, that works for missed stops or wrong vehicles. What about other common transit crises, like problems with tickets or fares?
Good question. Let's think about categories. You've got directional crises, missed stop, wrong line. Then financial or ticketing crises, maybe your card won't work or your ticket expired.
Yeah, that's stressful.
And third, transfer crises where you need to change lines and it's confusing or the connection isn't what you expected.
Okay, so for a ticketing problem, say the card reader isn't working. What's the composed way to handle that? Again, politeness and clarity. Avoid blaming the machine, even if it is the machine's fault. You could say, "Excuse me, it seems my card isn't working here. Could you advise me on what to do?" Could you advise me? That sounds quite formal but effective. It positions them as the expert who can guide you.
Exactly. It's a professional-sounding inquiry, not a complaint.
And for the transfer crisis, those can be really confusing, meaning multiple steps.
Yeah, the key there is to be concise about your situation and your goal. Don't overload the person with unnecessary details. State where you are, where you want to go, and what you need help with.
Okay.
Excuse me, I'm trying to get to the airport, but I think I need to transfer off the green line now. Could you possibly suggest the best place to interchange?
Could you possibly suggest another nice polite phrasing and using interchange instead of just change?
Interchange is a good one, yeah. It's often used in official contexts or in British English, sounds a bit more precise. But change lines is fine too. The key is the politeness in asking for their suggestion or advice.
And across all these scenarios, missed stop, bad ticket, confusing transfer edition, the sources kept mentioning tone. Why is staying calm so crucial?
It's purely practical, really. If you sound panicked or demanding, the person trying to help might get flustered or defensive. They might give you less clear information or just be less patient.
Right. But if you sound calm, composed, even while admitting a mistake, it signals, "I'm managing this, I just need your help." People generally respond much better to that. Your calm tone actually helps you get better help. So project calm, even if you don't feel it.
Essentially, yes. It's a communication strategy.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit and talk about the fun stuff. The language that really makes you sound fluent, like a C1 speaker. We're talking collocations and idioms.
Yes. These are the things that show you really understand the language, not just know words. Collocations first, those word pairs that just sound right to native speakers.
Like heavy rain instead of strong rain.
Exactly. There's often no logic. It's just how it's done.
Yeah.
And in transport, verb choice is a big one. Learners often default to take a train, take a bus.
Which is fine, but maybe a bit basic.
It's fine, but native speakers use more dynamic verbs. We don't just take the bus. We often catch the bus.
Ah, catch. That implies the timing, the potential rush. It's more evocative.
Definitely. Or think about getting on or off. Instead of just, I got on the bus, you might say informally, I hopped on the bus.
Hop on, hop up. Very natural, casual.
Yeah. And then there's the more formal end. You might hear an announcement say, please alight from the train carefully.
Alight. Okay, much more formal.
Right. And a C1 speaker understands both. They can hop off when talking to a friend, but they know what alight means when they hear it. It's about knowing the right register.
Understanding the context. Okay, let's move to idioms. These are like linguistic shortcuts, aren't they? Packing a lot of meaning into a few words.
They really are. Think about arriving just before departure. A functional speaker might say, I arrived with very little time. A fluent speaker, I made it just in time.
Or if they were late.
I missed the connection by a hair. Or simply, I missed my connection.
Right. And what about describing crowded situations? The sources mentioned one classic.
Yes, packed like sardines.
Such a great visual. Fish crammed in a tin instantly tells you it was incredibly crowded.
It's so effective. But like you said about register earlier, would you use that talking to an official?
Probably not if I was making a serious complaint, right?
Exactly. In that case, you might use a slightly more formal but still idiomatic phrase like, it was standing room only.
Standing room only. Okay, descriptive, common, but less fishy.
Right. Packs like sardines is great for telling a story to friends or maybe sharing a moment of exasperation with another passenger. Knowing when to use which phrase is key.
Definitely. And finally, in this section, we need to talk about vocabulary that changes depending on where you are, regional differences.
Oh, this is crucial. You can know all the grammar and general vocab, but if you don't know the local terms for transport, you can get really stuck.
Like paying the fare.
Yeah. In the US, you pay the fare, maybe ask for a transfer. In London, you're on the tube, maybe using an Oyster card. In parts of Europe, the key phrase might be validate your ticket.
Validate your ticket. That's a specific action, isn't it? Stamping and scanning it before you get on.
Exactly. It's common in places like France or Italy. If you just ask, where do I pay? On the platform, They might look at you strangely because payment isn't the issue, validation is. It shows you don't know the local system.
Or thinking about modern payment,
Right.
like in London or Singapore.
Right, you'll hear tap in and tap out using your contactless card or phone.
Nobody says insert your ticket anymore in those places, usually.
Not for the main system, no. And you definitely wouldn't hear a light from the vehicle for just getting off the bus casually. Knowing these local current terms, tap in, tap out, validate, interchange, it makes a huge difference to sounding fluent and navigating easily.
It shows you're paying attention to how people actually talk there.
That's it.
Okay, so we've looked at politeness, crisis management, those C1 fluency boosters like idioms and collocations. Let's try and pull it all together. Our sources had a really neat little role play, didn't they? A quick chat with a bus driver.
Yes, it's a great example because it shows how these different elements work together in sequence. The traveler has multiple things they need to achieve.
Right, it's not just one question. Okay, well, walk us through it. How does it start? It starts with the basic direction query. The traveler says, "Excuse me, does this bus go to the city center?" Standard opener. Polite interruption, clear question. Exactly. Gets the most important info first. Then the driver replies, "Yes, it does. You'll want to get off at the third stop after the bridge." Okay, good clear instructions from the driver too. Using a landmark after the bridge, which is helpful. Very helpful. Now the traveler needs to handle payment. They transition smoothly. "Perfect, thanks. And could I pay by card?" Ah, nice transition. "Perfect, thanks." Acknowledges the directions. Then the polite modal "could I pay" for the transaction and using "and" to link them. Very smooth, really well done. Then the driver gives the instruction, "Sure, just tap your card on the reader." Clear, concise, uses that modern tap your card vocab we talked about. Right. Now the traveler realizes they need one more thing help with their specific stop. This is the tricky follow-up. They say, "Oh, actually, could you please let me know when we reach the museum stop?" "Oh, actually." That's a great little softener, isn't it? Signals a shift in thought without being abrupt, and then straight into that full polite formula, "Could you please let me know?" Perfect execution. It acknowledges the transaction was kind of finished, but adds this necessary request politely. And the driver's response seals it. "Of course. I'll let you know when we're close." Of course. Positive. Reassuring. And when we're close, shows the driver understands and accepts the task.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The whole thing works because the traveler managed the complexity step by step. They didn't just blurt out all three requests at once.
Right. Direction first, then payment, then the stop tracking. Using politeness, clear language, staying composed, that really is C1 communication in action.
Yeah, absolutely is. Hashtag tag, hashtag outro. So if we boil down this whole deep dive, what's the main takeaway?
Yeah.
I think it's that mastering something stressful like public transport in English isn't just about knowing words, it's about confidence. And that confidence comes from using politeness and clarity strategically.
Yeah, those tools we talked about, hedging, indirect questions like, "Would you happen to know?" They're like social lubricants, aren't they? They just make the interaction smoother for everyone.
Exactly. For you and for the person you're asking. So we want you, the listener, to actually try this stuff out. Don't wait until you're lost somewhere new. Here's the challenge from our sources. Next time you use public transport, even just in your own town, actively try one of these C1 phrases.
Maybe ask about a seat using "mind if I sit here." Or if you need to know about a stop, use that full "excuse me, could you please tell me when we reach?" Just practice it in a low-stakes situation.
That's great advice. Build the muscle memory now.
Definitely.
And maybe a final thought to leave you with, something that really defines advanced language learning. It's tempting to rely totally on apps and signs and maps. They're useful, of course.
Sure.
But the real sign you've reached that C1 comfort level isn't how well you can read the schedule on the wall. It's the quality of those spontaneous conversations you have with real people along the way.
How smoothly you handle those interactions.
Yeah. Can you initiate them confidently? Can you sustain them politely, even if there's a problem? That ability, that social comfort in the language, that's the true measure of mastery.